I'm Brooks Fuller with Common Cause North Carolina. Here's 5 things you need to know about this week in North Carolina politics.
In this special edition of 5 Things to Know, we're taking a closer look at harmful changes to voting rules being considered by the State Board of Elections, and how you can speak up against these anti-voter proposals. The State Board of Elections has proposed rule changes that could open the door for county boards to reject certain ballots along party lines, limit constitutionally protected gatherings at polling sites, and make it even harder to vote by mail and harder to have those ballots count. Now, here's more on these harmful proposals and what you can do right now to help stop them. Photo identification is required to vote in North Carolina, but when a voter shows up without their ID, they may have to cast a provisional ballot and fill out a voter ID exception form. Many eligible voters do this when they have a reasonable impediment to bringing a photo ID to vote. Currently, all 100 county boards of elections are governed by 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats. The rules in use right now require a unanimous vote by the county board to reject a provisional ballot cast using a voter ID exception form on the grounds that information in that form is false. That is an important safeguard against partisan pressure influencing which ballots will be counted and which are thrown out. But the proposed rule changes would allow county boards to throw out those ballots on a party line 3-2 decision. This would open the door to partisanship, trumping fairness, and threatening to unjustly throw out lawful votes. We already know that North Carolina's voter ID law targets vulnerable populations, and there is no evidence that the current rules have allowed a single fraudulent vote to count. Black voters specifically are disproportionately less likely to have a qualifying photo ID. That means they are at higher risk of having their provisional ballots tossed out under these proposed rules. This proposed rule change is unnecessary and would hurt voters, and it should be rejected. Voting is worth celebrating, but new rules proposed by the State Board of Elections want to put a damper on the party. Specifically, new rules would ban any form of sound amplification at the polls and would allow voting site judges to remove anyone standing outside of a polling place if their voice can be heard from inside the voting enclosure, even if they are not disrupting voters. The proposed rules give voting site judges wide latitude to over-police constitutionally protected activities outside the polling place, even activities related to parties at the polls or souls at the polls designed to encourage people exercising their sacred right to vote. This is another unnecessary and harmful proposed change that should be rejected. Another proposed rule change would put additional hurdles in front of voters who cast absentee by mail ballots, specifically ballots that are eligible to be counted but are returned with certain irregularities. For example, the Board of Elections would flag voters who did not put their completed absentee ballot in the specified ballot envelope but did put their ballot within the larger sealed outer return envelope, or voters where members of the same household return ballots in one another's envelopes. The current rules let the County Board of Elections use its common sense to weigh the facts in favor of counting the ballot. But the new rules would upend this by requiring the voter to cure the irregularity in writing, which is another extra step in an already cumbersome process that could lead to ballots being unfairly tossed out. This proposed rule change should be rejected. Now, here's your chance to speak up against these harmful anti-voter changes. From now until July 14th, the State Board of Elections is accepting public comments on these proposed rules. And this is important. Your voice has power. The State Board is required by law to consider all public comments, so every comment counts, both to show your disagreement with these anti-voter changes and to provide alternatives that can actually serve the voters. Go to ccnc.me/rules right now to learn more and submit your comments against these harmful rule changes. Again, that's ccnc.me/rules. Your voice can make a big difference. And here's one last bonus thing you need to know. As we get closer to the election, nonpartisan volunteers will be available to walk you through voting under existing rules and any new rules the Board of Elections might pass between now and Election Day. So remember, 888 Our Vote will be available throughout the voting period so you can make a plan and make your vote count.
Those are 5 things you need to know about this week in North Carolina politics. Join us anytime at commoncausenc.org.